Now, the climate change group Extinction Rebellion, which began in Gloucestershire, has apologised after its demonstrations across London resulted in outbreaks of violence this morning, which you may have seen. Several of the activists involved had travelled to the capital from the West Country to take part.
The group has said sorry for stopping tube trains for commuters, but says action on climate change must continue. Andrew Plant reports.
So here we are at Canning Town Station.
What happened in London this morning was filmed from several different angles. This from an ITV producer, the moment things turn violent. Frustrated commuters drag a protester to the floor.
Disrupting passengers on the tube.
This footage, filmed at the same time, is from Elliot Laughlin from Swindon, employed by Extinction Rebellion to document the day. And watch this. Some of the crowd turns on him too. This from a different phone, as day after day of disruption makes tempers fray.
I might not always agree with Extinction Rebellion's actions, maybe this one particularly. I was informing these Londoners who attacked me that I was a journalist reporting on the news, yet they still pulled me to the floor and beat me. I took a fetal position and had to wait for the blows to stop.
It has been more than a week of disruption now. Monday it saw police announce a ban on any assembly of climate change protesters. Those protesters ignored the warning. This was 2 days ago. The Stroud co-founder of Extinction Rebellion, Gail Bradbrook, arrested after climbing onto the roof of the Department for Transport. And another West Country protester, Phil Kingston from Bristol, gluing his hand to a train this morning. He was arrested shortly afterwards for the 13th time.
I'm doing this primarily for my grandchildren, because I've learned that what they're heading towards at the moment is an increase in temperature of almost 3 degrees centigrade.
Activists say the disruption caused by their actions is nothing compared to the chaos that would be caused by global warming. They want the UK to be carbon neutral by 2025. But critics say their actions have only hurt those people who can least afford to be late for work. Later in the day, on their Twitter account, Extinction Rebellion issued an apology for the disruption.
That if we don't fight to save our planet, then we won't have...
The government says it is the first major economy to commit to bring all greenhouse gas emissions to net zero by 2050. Extinction Rebellion say that would be too late to avoid a climate crisis. Andrew Plant, BBC, Points West.
Shares in the Bristol-based financial firm Hargreaves Lansdown fell today after the closure of a prominent investment fund that it's backed. 1,500 people work for the company at its Bristol headquarters, which has grown steadily since it was started nearly 40 years ago in Peter Hargreaves' spare bedroom.
Well, how serious is this latest city scandal? Our business correspondent Dave Harvey is here. Is Hargreaves Lansdown in trouble?
Certainly a little bit of bother at the moment, and here's why. In a way, Hargreaves Lansdown started with a very simple idea. Most people, they said, can't choose between the different companies and stocks and shares to put their savings into. So let's trust the experts. And what they did was they picked the best stock pickers, people who really could know the city. People like this character, Neil Woodford, for decades darling of the city. All his funds outperformed the rest of the market. Hargreaves Lansdown backed him pretty hard. All good things come to an end, though, don't they? And in the summer, well, his fund was suspended, and earlier this week it was closed, and he's now closed his company completely.
So will investors get their money back?
Eventually, yes. It's been frozen whilst the new managers sell what's in the fund to try and realise the cash, if you like, and by starting in February, investors will get whatever's left back. It will be between 80, they'll lose between 20 and 40%, depending on when they put their money in. But it's clearly an issue for them.
And as if it's not worrying enough for them, of course, there's 1,500 people that David mentioned that work for Hargreaves Lansdown. Sort of worry for them?
Well, it's hard to see how a firm is doing. One good way of looking at the share price of the company itself, you can, of course, buy shares in Hargreaves Lansdown. If you look at that price, well, today it was about £17.36 today. Just a couple of weeks ago, it was up over 20 quid. So really, the city already marking the company down. But if you take a longer view, which people are always urged to do, back in February, well, it was around, look at that, some £16.68. So overall, actually, the company hasn't suffered that much.
Was the fund on the top 50 list after people knew that there was trouble within it?
It depends what you mean by people know. It was certainly on that 50 list after its performance started going down. And that's the interesting thing. And today, well, the company's not talking to journalists, they're talking to the regulators who are investigating all this. I put exactly that question. Did they stick with them for too long? To a man who used to work for the company and now runs his own firm.
So the fund had shrunk from about 10 billion in 2017 to about 3.6 billion in June this year when it got suspended, the first fund. And that 2 year period was a period of poor performance. But you look at the record that he had over 25 years, and he made an awful lot of money for many hundreds of thousands of investors. And that was great for the first 23, 24 years. And it's just gone a bit pear-shaped in the last couple of years. But the previous record gave him time, in lots of people's view, and certainly Hargreaves Lansdown's view, to actually come good again.
And I suppose, remember, these are all stocks and shares. They go up, they go down again. And one thing everyone's saying today, even if there seems to be a golden goose laying golden eggs, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Sounds like good advice, Dave. Thank you very much.
Thank you.